Home, Moon, Yang main continent, accumulating contribution points. Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. Name. Luo Feng pondered. The great being Shi Luo Juo's manuals were at the pinnacle level too. Such manuals definitely had to be named with careful consideration. What shall I call it? This is a scaled wing attack technique that can be used as a blade technique. Wing blade. Void blade. Wing blade 6 forms. Wing blade 7 forms. The main thing is using the Showu wings to fight, hence, Showu manual. But this can also be used with a blade to battle, using the Blood Shadow blade. Maybe, Blood Shadow manual then. Luo Feng thought of many names, vetoing each one. He felt they were lacking. What does it lack? Luo Feng kept thinking. Looking at Luo Feng ponder, the Primal Chaos City leader watched silently. A pinnacle manual was the proof of an absolute warrior. Even if he were to fall, his manual would be passed on. Hence, every warrior would carefully consider the name. This was also a proof of longevity. Luo Feng's eyes suddenly gleamed. It lacks a certain strength. The strength of the spirit. The thoughts continued in his mind. When I think of my manual, I get a boundless sense of force and emotion. When I think of it, it fortifies my warrior's heart, and I understand my own resolve. What my resolve is. The many scenes appeared in his mind. I want to stop my parents from suffering, letting them lead a good life. Back during the base era, Luo Feng carried his shield and blade, exploring the wilderness and beginning his warrior's path. Dragon Egg. Armor. In Wilderness Sector 003, a monster leader was fighting with 2 war gods. Luo Feng rushed in and took away its egg and armor from its nest. A cornered rabbit will bite back. You really think I won't kill you? His flying blade lopped of the powerful head. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with madness as he fled madly. At that time, Luo Feng was like a demon. 100 billion. When offered the huge bounty, he was filled with fear about his teammates divulging the information. 28 billion. The first time his brother Luo Hua saw the number, he was stunned. Luo Hua, I told you before. I will let you stand confidently before that lady Xiao Nan and before her parents. I told you before. Luo Feng promised before his brother. The honor of becoming an investigator of the Dojo of Limits. The appearance of the Golden Horned Beast and the apocalypse of Earth. The many warriors of Earth risking it all to fight the Golden Horned Beast. Just leaving Earth into the universe, he was very careful and yet decisive, visiting the world within a world and fighting with his life. Every step of the way, he unleashed his talents, risking it all in missions, and all these came from his heart of resolve. To protect his loved ones. Protect his home. Home. Family. Luo Feng instantly came up with the name, Moon. Looking at the moon, he would reminisce and miss his family. Luo Feng had been studying many ancient Chinese texts, hence the first thing he thought of was moon. Countless poems from ancient times spoke of the moon while dreaming of their home, standing alone under the moon and remembering their family. Moon. One law alone is simple, but with many others, they form a policy. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. I've only created the first form now, there will eventually be the second and third, together they will form a policy. My new manual shall be called Moon Policy. Luo Feng made the decision. Moon Policy represented his resolve, the policy also represented his ambition, and his spirit to never give up, but to get stronger. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Done? The city leader looked at Luo Feng's excited gaze and smiled. Yes. Luo Feng replied respectfully. Tell me. The city leader asked. It shall be called Moon Policy. Luo Feng answered. Moon Policy. The city leader was curious. There wasn't any manual in the universe that used the word policy. Most were XX manual, or soul imprint, or linear universe, strike travel, Nanshan 7 forms etc. He had never seen a manual called XX policy. What's more, the meaning behind moon, the city leader didn't fully understand. Even so, he didn't bother to ask more. Moon policy, let's hope this name will cause fear and envy amongst the trillions of races. The city leader smiled. I will work hard. Luo Feng said respectfully. The city leader nodded. Teacher, I want to ask, what are the levels of a technique? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. He only knew that the top three, which were top class, pinnacle and extreme. The city leader said, easy distinction, low level, normal, top class, pinnacle and extreme. The techniques normal sector lords and some normal undyings usually create are normally low level. Like the inheritance you got from Hu Yangbo, his soul imprint has some special features. It already surpassed the low-level category, it should be considered normal. Like the new 7 blades you've been studying, even though it surpasses the original 7 illusionary blades, it's still within the normal category. Many official level undyings, and some sector lord geniuses have normal level techniques too. Above that is the top class. Usually sector lord absolute geniuses, and emperor level undyings will create such level of technique. Above that is pinnacle. Like your other teacher Tru Yang, who is able to survive even before a knight, is as powerful as a normal knight. A being like that, or even like your senior Kudai, who was extremely powerful during sector lord level, they would normally create pinnacle level techniques. The knights all mostly create pinnacle techniques. Of course it's just like what I told you, the opponents you face, from the 1000th to 1999th, they are all using pinnacle techniques. Hence, even within the pinnacle techniques, there are still huge differences. Even though Shiluo Duo was strong, he was still only from a normal race like the Goldhorn race. They don't have the background of humanity, hence the techniques he created cannot compare to ours. This is why his techniques will only be about the level of the 1200th opponent you will face. As for the extreme level is too far away from you for now. The city leader smiled, when you can deal with the 2000th opponent, then we'll talk. Luo Feng was shocked within, immediately replying, yes teacher. Actually, you've already done not bad this time. The city leader said. With my full support in altering your opponents according to your improvement, while dealing with your weaknesses every time, under such circumstances, your efficiency in studying has risen hundreds to thousands of times. I still thought that with my help, I'd be able to help you create a top-level technique in 2000 years, but you exceeded my expectations. Creating a pinnacle technique in 1200 years, your comprehension is very high. At least in the beast god path, it's extremely high. Luo Feng felt regretful within. The creation of a technique was very hard. To have someone specially arrange such opponents for him, even the knights would find hard to do. With such help, how could he not improve fast? 1200 years. It was akin to his own self-study of hundreds of thousands of years. How could teacher even know that even though my comprehension of the beast god path is high, it's not as high as you think? He pondered. I have the beast god statue to help me. I'm able to study it personally and understand it, feeling its aura. One who stays near vermilion is stained red. Studying the statue daily made his improvement naturally fast. Go on. The city leader turned and walked into the energies. Continue to fight against the warriors in the outer region wars. The life or death training will help you perfect your techniques, and help you improve faster. Yes. Luo Feng bowed respectfully and vanished. Asterisk. In the 7th battlefield, Fog Island was shrouded in mist as a living ship flew. 1200 years, these 1200 years, the silver beast has vanished. No one on Fog Island has seen it since. 4 demon undyings in their demon puppets sat separately, as the atmosphere was relaxed. It might have gone to the main continent. There are many strong warriors there, many officials and even some emperors. Those emperors have all sorts of techniques. Anyone able to become emperor must have huge fortunes, and they are able to buy large amounts of automaton weapons or terrifying items. They aren't easy to deal with, the silver beast may even be killed by some emperor there. With the disappearance of the beast, Fog Island now has many more officials than before. Now there are 18 tyrants, and they are all extremely arrogant. Especially the star-eating sector lord amongst them. When the silver beast dominated the Fog Island, he remained hidden. Now that it's gone, he sure is arrogant. However, to be accurate, he is extremely strong. I heard that even against an official undying, he's able to keep up. His strength improvement is huge. 800 million kilometers away from this living ship, a black disk ship was swiftly leaving Fog Island. Within that ship, a black armored Luo Feng stood and looked at the undyings chatting 800 million kilometers away. He said softly, the silver beast vanished. It simply can't find any opponent here on Fog Island. The main continent is supposed to have a lot more powerful warriors, with many official levels about. One would easily bump into officials everywhere and occasionally the emperors. I have to be careful. Officials are already hard to deal with and emperors have even more wealth than I do, and there will be other race assassins about. They may come up at any time. Luo Feng thought, on the main continent, I definitely cannot reveal the connection between the star-eating sector lord and the silver beast. If the other races don't know my trump cards, my chances of survival would be much higher. Battle. Danger. Bring it. Luo Feng gazed into the distance at the incredibly vast main continent. That was the Yangji main continent, which was tens of thousands of times bigger than Fog Island, and many strong warriors were there. The black disk ship continued to head towards the main continent. The main continent had a largest diameter of 1.8 light years. Its surrounding thousands of islands together didn't even add up to a tenth of the main continent. The main continent had a black disk ship flying at sub-light speed above its desert. Luo Feng, 960 million kilometers away, there's a team with 3 undyings and an army of over 10,000. According to the army's conversation, there should be one official undying amongst the 3, and he's pretty strong. After a while, Luo Feng, 980 million kilometers away, there's a team stationed in the desert. There are 2 undyings and 23 sector lords. According to what they are saying, they should have just finished a battle and lost quite a bit of their strength. Their team has just 1 official. After a while, the leader of the team is an official. The leader of the team is an official. Luo Feng sat in the sofa of the control room, casually sipping his wine, listening to the reports of Barbata. All right, Barbata, you don't have to tell me everything in detail. Luo Feng put down his glass. You don't even have to scan, I'll be able to guess that every team almost definitely has an official. Indeed, the master of Barbata, you are wise. Barbata mocked. When Luo Feng reached domain lord level, according to the living Ari's most basic system, it would automatically regard Luo Feng as its master. However, as it was already a living AI, with its own emotions, it still naturally resonated more with its old master Hu Yangbo. It normally called Luo Feng by name, hardly ever calling him master. The name was just his way of calling him. As a living AI, Barbata naturally respected Luo Feng as its master. This was the special quality of a living AI. Like the automaton race, a pinnacle race of the universe, every one of them was a living AI. They had strict limitations about authority within their bodies, and they would never have an incident where the lower-ranking warriors would disrespect the higher rankings. It could be said that they were the most united race of the universe. Wise my ass. I've been in the Yangji main continent for 36 days, discovering over 800 teams. Whether it's other races or human teams, according to what I've seen, there's never been a team without an official. Luo Feng shook his head. It's obvious that every team here has an official. Strange. According to the information I gathered, among the undyings, the generals should take up 2 or 3 RDS of the undyings, the officials 1/3, and there should be very few emperors. With the percentage of officials that high, out of every team of 3 to 5 undyings, there would most definitely be one within. A team without an official cannot survive on the main continent. Luo Feng smiled. It was just like when the star-eating sector lord appeared on Fog Island. it forced the undyings into group in 5 or 6. One theory was the high percentage of officials meant that more teams would have officials, forcing the teams without one to form alliances with another that had at least one official. That way, their chances of survival were much higher. Otherwise, if they were attacked by a team with an official, they would be massacred. Official. They had undying bodies, and it was very rare that officials were killed, unless a particular enemy official was very proficient in soul attacks. Looks like there are very few emperors. After flying here for 36 days, I haven't even seen an emperor team. Luo Feng shook his head. That is very normal. It takes about 2 years to fly past the entire continent, and that is flying in a straight line. If we want to search the entire continent, considering that the emperors don't move at all, even searching for 10,000 years wouldn't be enough. You've only flown for 36 days. Do you think it would be that easy to find an emperor? Even if you bump into one, his scanning device may be even more advanced than yours. It may completely block off yours, and we wouldn't even be able to discover him. Luo Feng shook his head. Barbata. Luo Feng ordered. Activate all abilities of the second scanning device, and maintain number 1's normal state and close off all of its jamming abilities, only maintain its protection status. Luo Feng ordered. Understood. Barbata immediately did so. The first device was the one he spent a huge fortune on in Primal Chaos City to exchange for. This was definitely something an emperor would use. The second one was the one he got when used the Golden Horned Beast to kill the official level Undying Fen Ya. This one would cost about a few 100,000 mixed elements too. It was not bad. Right now, he closed off all jamming systems of the first device. Then, as long as the enemy teams had devices better than his second device, they would be able to find Luo Feng. It was hard to find any device better than his first device, however, it was easy to find people with those better than his second. Luo Feng, you sure are crafty. Not crafty, just bored. I have to catch some fish, luring them to eat my bait. 310 million kilometers away, there was a completely black living ship flying. Within its control room. Despicable human, actually having an undying plant, if not for it, I'd long kill them. A scaled wolf head man roared. The humans are simply too wealthy, even an official human has an undying plant. Humans are wealthy. Another undying with large compound eyes and butterfly wings said beside him. If it was Luo Feng, he could instantly tell. This was the Wei Yi race, a powerful race that wasn't subservient to the demons. Actually, there were many other powerful races in the outer region wars that weren't subservient to the 4 pinnacle races. Some of them sent their members after discussion with the pinnacle races, just for experience and training. Even to the point that there were other pinnacle races besides the 4. After all, demons, automaton, humans, and bugs, these were but 4 of the 6 pinnacle races of the universe. As their territories were close, they often clashed and fought. There were 2 other pinnacle races in the universe. As they were much further away, naturally they wouldn't get too involved in the big wars. Otherwise, just the cost of transportation alone would be shocking. However, there were some members of the 2 pinnacle races that were willing to come fight. Like the Kaewu race, even though they belonged to the side of the bugs. In truth, they were subservient to one of the 2 distant pinnacle races. Humans are very adept at machinery and living things. Another Wei Yi Undying said with envy. Combined with the one and only virtual universe network, combining the entire strength of humanity, using their resources most efficiently, it's made it hard for any other race to match them. Humph. Humans have poor body structures. Hence, they are much weaker than us demons. This is why they have to use other tactics to match us. The wolf head man said. It's a pity that the space beasts are too proud, not wanting to be part of us demons. Those proud space beasts should think too. They have high intelligence and talents, and they are huge beasts. They should naturally be part of us demons. This is especially true for the pinnacle 12 bloodlines. They are even higher than our royal bloodlines. It's a pity. The space beasts have powerful strength, but no territories. It sure is peculiar. A Wei Yi lady spoke. Even without territories, they are situated throughout the universe. The wolf-head man said. The space beasts are scattered throughout the universe, many sector lord pinnacle beasts never meeting another in their lifetimes. Unless they become undying and have eternal life, only then could they make contact with the space beast core. The Space Beast Alliance. That's one of the super alliances of the universe. If that alliance was willing to merge with the demons, our demons would definitely become the top pinnacle race. The wolf-head man exclaimed. The demons and space beasts did have many disputes. Actually, as a whole, the space beasts were like a strengthened demon race. The demons couldn't be blamed in wanting them to merge. While these three undyings were discussing humans, demons and space beasts. The wolf-head man looked at his arm screen. The other two Wei Yi undyings looked at him. Captain. The two of them asked curiously. We've discovered a ship, it's a human. The wolf-head man said seriously. What's special about a human ship? The lady smiled. Looks like the captain is triggered by humans. No, there's only one human on the ship, and it's a sector lord. The scaled wolf-head man emphasized. Sector lord. How can that be? The two Wei Yi undyings were shocked. The main continent was filled with powerful warriors. It was almost certain there would be an official within every team, or someone with the abilities of an official. However, there was a human sector lord on the main continent now. A human sector lord actually dares to come to Yang main continent. Is he looking to die? The other two undyings couldn't believe this. I've thought of a person. The wolf-head man said suddenly. Do you remember the star-eating sector lord I spoke of on Fog Island? Fog Island's star-eating sector lord. The two Wei Yi undyings' single eyes gleamed. I heard that he has the strength of an official and an 100-vine star-eating plant. The wolf-man revealed a smile. This human sector lord could very likely be the star-eating sector lord. Maybe he found himself invincible on Fog Island and decided to come to the main continent. How stupid. The main continent isn't like Fog Island at all. Let's kill him. Are there any objections? Of course not. The two other undyings laughed. Let's get close. The wolf-head man ordered. The living ship swiftly flew towards Luo Feng's ship. The living ship got closer. Look, that human sector lord is still casually sipping wine. The leading scaled wolf-head man pointed at the screen and mocked. If only he knew that he was being watched by the demon clan's pinnacle official warrior from the Gold Fear race, he'd probably be weak in his knees from the fear. The Wei Yi lady laughed. Beside her the Wei Yi man nodded and said coldly, ignorance is bliss, let's help him die faster. To have such power at sector lord level, he's definitely an absolute genius by the Demon Alliance standards. His rewards would be extremely high. It is very high. The wolf-head man nodded, hence we need to record footage of the battle and keep his body and items to prove our work. Unlike the humans that had the virtual universe, the demon communication system was much more backwards. They could only maintain consciousness communication in the 7th battlefield, and were unable to project images or footage, much less the synchronized broadcast of the virtual universe network. Understood. The two Wei Yi undyings were excited. Within the ship, Luo Feng sat in his control room and sipped his wine, revealing a peculiar smile, muttering to himself, ignorance is bliss, right? You guys are right. You are very blissful right now, because you don't know what's about to hit you. Actually, the contribution points I'll get from you will be pretty high, official pinnacle. Hee. I am much stronger than the boulder of Fog Island. The golden horned beast should have no problems getting rid of you. 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Countdown 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28. Luo Feng's first scanner clearly recorded the distance between his ship and the living ship. An undying light ball that was being condensed instantly shot through tens of thousands of kilometers, hitting the black disk ship Luo Feng was in. The E9 ship was instantly torn apart, with large amounts of alloy remains shooting in all directions. The entire ship was exploded open along with the space itself, as countless space fragments shook. After a while, the fragments regained their form. Amidst the ripples, a black silhouette stood in space. He held a shield and had a blade on his back. "Little punk, you sure got some guts coming to Yang main continent." A sharp voice resounded from the butterfly-winged undying with compound eyes. The Wei Yi lady spoke, "Only at a sector lord level. You must be an absolute genius of humanity. How can you be so stupid? His stupidity gives us points." The Wei Yi man said from the other side. "Don't waste time, hurry and kill him." The wolf head man said from the distance. The three undyings surrounded Luo Feng from all sides. "So noisy." Luo Feng brandished his blade from the scabbard on his back, his gaze gleaming coldly at the three undyings. "Poor little." The Wei Yi lady had just begun to speak. The two Wei Yi undyings simultaneously became blurs, leaving a S-curve as they flew towards Luo Feng. They shot out large amounts of white threads from both hands, seemingly like spider web. Luo Feng, however, saw through it easily. The threads shot through the distance, slashing the space and creating a thin slit. The two undyings released over 10 million threads that wrapped around Luo Feng from all about, wanting to trap him within. The Wei Yi race sure is powerful, their methods aren't ordinary at all. However, these two are obviously still too weak. Luo Feng shook his head. Countless white threads wrapped about him. "What an idiot, he doesn't even block it," the Wei Yi undying male mocked. "Even though the two of us are weaker, however, even if the captain was caught by us, he wouldn't be able to break free immediately." The lady's compound eyes sneered, after which, however, their smiles vanished. Because, just as the white threads began to form their cocoon around Luo Feng, they were shocked to realize that the black silhouette was already thousands of kilometers away. How can that be? How can his dodging speed be even faster than us? The two undyings were shocked. Luo Feng simply glanced at them. While creating his techniques, the 182nd opponent set by his teacher, the Primal Chaos City leader, was a Wei Yi undying. Back then the Golden Horned Beast fought against that undying. That opponent was Emperor level, and his power and skills were at a much higher level. The Wei Yi race were well known in speed and dodging, and they could naturally spit threads. The threads they made were incredibly flexible and sturdy. The moment they formed a cocoon, they would trap their opponents. Even if the enemy had his body completely shattered, he wouldn't be able to escape. This was like a cage that was almost impossible to escape from in a short time. It was a pity. Luo Feng had detailed information about them within his inherited memories, and with battle experience against an emperor-level Wei Yi undying, how could he be bothered with these two barely official punks? Die. Luo Feng flashed 3 times, leaving behind warps within the 10,000 kilometers area, almost like lightning that was warping. Strike travel. The Wei Yi man immediately hurriedly tried to dodge, and use his threads to stop Luo Feng. But it couldn't be helped, Luo Feng was faster than him by a large margin. The blood shadow blade instantly left behind a terrifying flash. This silver flash was invincible, slashing through space itself, leaving behind torn fragments of space and creating a silver Milky Way. The flash of the blade formed a Milky Way. With that Milky Way, it couldn't be stopped. Rumble. The shocked Wei Yi undying was instantly torn to shreds. Moon policy first form, Milky Way across the sky. Another 2 flashes and 2 more Milky Ways appeared in the space, one tearing apart the Wei Yi lady and another rushing straight at the wolf head demon. 3 Milky Ways. Attacking 3 undyings. Howl. The body of the wolf head man instantly broke apart. A powerful howl erupted as a huge gold-scaled beast with a wolf head, but with a horn on top appeared. Its head's scales had incomparably complex engravings. One of the royal demon empires, the Gold-Fear race. They were renowned for swallowing. They were somewhat similar to a weakened golden horned beast. Captain, I lost 3% of my undying body. I lost 2% of my undying body. The 2 Wei Yi undyings reformed their bodies in mid-air, as their eyes filled with rage and shock. They had just recently completed their undying bodies, hence they weren't fully stable yet. However, they were barely official level. To damage their undying bodies, one had to at least have barely Emperor strength, or close to Emperor ability. Indeed, the current Luo Feng and his human body did have close to Emperor strength. His basic strength was 1,000 times that of a normal sector lord, which was at a low official level. In terms of skill, over 1,000 years of creating his techniques and studying the beast god statue, with it in hand, it allowed him to reach the beast god presence of passing the heavenly bridges, 18th level. This was already at the emperor level. As for his usage of the blade, he had created the pinnacle technique moon policy. The three had combined skill and blade work with the increase in body strength. This allowed him to have close to emperor level strength. After all, the true pinnacle emperors, like Bloodthirst Emperor, Fantasy Spirit etc., the techniques they created were only top-class level. But Luo Feng's blade work was indeed very intrepid. A human sector lord with close to emperor level strength. If we kill him, how much points would we get? He may be slightly stronger than me, but it can't be by that much. The two Wei Yi idiots just finished their undying bodies, and they have yet to stabilize it. Even I have the ability to damage 1% of their bodies at a time. The Gold Fear race demon's eyes were burning, and this human is just a sector lord, he doesn't even have an undying body. The worst case scenario, I'll burn some of my undying energy and give it my all to kill him. Such a genius, his points should be akin to an emperor. Killing a sector lord genius had a much higher reward than killing a similar level undying sector lord with the strength of an emperor. Killing him would indeed give him the points akin to actually killing an emperor. The two of them actually got injured, and their undying bodies were damaged. Luo Feng glanced at the two Wei Yi undyings. So weak, my earth body only has close to emperor strength. And not even a true emperor. Howl. The distant gold fear demon rushed over and opened its mouth. A terrifying suction strength immediately acted on Luo Feng's body. He probably wouldn't dare forcefully swallow a similar level pinnacle official, but a human sector lord, even if he was strong, he was still human without an undying body. He immediately attempted to swallow him. The sky and land grew dark, as the powerful space energy acted on his body. HMPH. Luo Feng instantly took out the undying star-eating plant, that instantly swelled and covered 100,000 kilometers of space. Let's see how you swallow this. Luo Feng's other body was the golden horned beast. Naturally, he was clear on the weakness of this ability. The swallowing area had a limit. A 100,000 kilometers diameter plant was something the demon had no way of swallowing. Howl. The demon was forced to stop abruptly as it howled. Countless gold lights appeared in the surrounding space, and within this gold domain, the demon rushed at Luo Feng. Be my training partner. Once I'm done, the golden horned beast will kill you and get the points. Luo Feng wielded his blood shadow blade and instantly rushed at him. This video will end here.